The
door bursts open. Plate and Neandro storm in, carrying Costry between them. He's covered in blood. There are several arrows in him.
What happened?
In the marketplace! Quickly, bolt the door! I'm gonna run to the door and shut it. Okay, initiative. You glance outside, see no one out of the ordinary, and close the door.
I'll unsheath my sword.
Okay,
I hate this godforsaken city.
The idea is that you're in this setting, usually medieval, and you are role-playing this fictional persona.
I'll go bullstring.
It's just people sitting around with sheets of stats and role-playing. It's like a play or a movie that you make up as you go.
The Dungeon Master leads most of that by describing where we are, what we're doing, who's there.
It's sort of like a...
We just act in this world, and every time we attempt some sort of physical or mental or conversational social feat, die rolls are involved.
The dice rolls are really big, so chance is a big part of it. Tabletop gaming in the style of Dungeons & Dragons I've been doing for about 1.5 years. I had heard that a few of my buddies were getting together to play D&D, and I, like many people, had no idea what it actually was. And so I thought, oh, well, that kind of sounds a little stupid, you know, especially I was playing football and I fancied myself above that kind of thing. And then I sat down to play it after they'd gotten through about 3 or 4 sessions, made a character, and I was hooked immediately.
I'm just a player, a pawn in the game. My first ever D&D character was the exact antithesis of what I am. He was a halfling, which means he's very short. I'm 6'4". But you can never really get away from who you are if you get deep into the role-playing.
We had a very long narrative, and so it was required that we had pretty detailed character backstories. My character then was a character named Kanakar Venestrov, which means brave traveler. I came up with the idea of an exile knight, an alcoholic exile knight. He lost a battle against a group of savage elves, which his country was fighting all the time. Eventually, he grew and grew and grew, and it was really fun to watch that process and to be in that process.
Somehow almost making himself thinner. See, I don't actually have a character. There's me, and I'm the game master, dungeon master, whatever you want to call it, and then there's players. So they are all one person from beginning to end. 23 total. Ooh. I, however, am everything that isn't them. So I am every person that they encounter, describe every scene that they enter into. That's all me. Cleared out immediately, saw what was happening, dark to the ground, and then the archers fired.
They have absolutely helped me outside of the game, the experiences I had. I mean, I played football in college for 1 year, and I think the games we were playing helped me build team skills more than I ever built in sports. Sometimes you do really well and sometimes you fail. And so it's a phenomenal team building exercise. Action, adrenaline, comedy, and then brotherhood, camaraderie. I mean, what more could you ask for?
My favorite aspect about D&D is that it's at its core a social interaction.
Really doing something pretty bizarre. It's not his
I do think that a large portion of D&D groups may embody some of the characteristics that a lot of media outlets portray them as.
Put the dice away.
It's a group of kind of antisocial people.
Ready? So as far as the media portrayal of the game is concerned, I think that, you know, it's brutal, but like rightfully so.
It's the Thessal Hydra. The Thessal Hydra!
When I was a kid, I played it the same way they do in Stranger Things, but I like to think that now there's a deeper level to it. I mean, I think if there's one thing that I'd want people to come away with, it's just not to be afraid to get into it. It actually has more to do with the wall.
It can be the same as your negative stigma against it. It can definitely be that, but it can also be entirely different.
Bleed damage.
There is an element of humanness in a bunch of people getting together and trying to render something like this.
Absolutely try it, because I thought it was going to be really stupid, and I stumbled upon something which is just incredible.